That's suspicious. That's weird.
Funeral services for the 18-year-old were held inside a Mississippi church today, his casket arriving ahead of his visitation earlier today. The services come 2 weeks after his body was found in the water near a popular barrier island following a 4th of July boat trip there with friends, and as the investigation into his death remains ongoing.
NBC News national correspondent Aaron Gilchrist joins us now from Ocean Springs, Mississippi. Aaron, talk about how loved ones honored Nolan Wells today.
Such an outpouring of support, Kate and Christine, for Nolan's family here today. We saw the sanctuary here filled with hundreds of people, so many of them former teammates from the high school that Nolan went to, and the teammates that he played with in college were there as well. A busload of them came in from the community college that he went to, really just to stand with Nolan's family and to show their support for the family, and really to embrace the memory of the person that they considered a brother. I do want you to hear from Nolan's parents. His father spoke about how much pride he had in his son and the young man that he was becoming, and his mother spoke about the light that he brought into every room that he entered.
In a world that can often feel dark, be like Nolan. Be the light that brightens the lives of those around you. Be the warmth for those who may be feeling the coldness of the world. Love deeply, protect fiercely, and welcome others with kindness.
And ladies, you also saw Reverend Al Sharpton and Ben Crump standing on either side of Nolan's parents as well. They spoke about still demanding justice and still demanding a thorough and fair investigation into his death.
Aaron, authorities have released the incident report in this case. What more are we learning from that, and where does the investigation go from here?
I'll tell you, oddly, the incident report that we were able to obtain from law enforcement over the weekend, we asked Ben Crump, the attorney, whether he had gotten the incident report. And this afternoon, he said that he had not received it. So we're trying to square that a little bit to see what information they've been able to get at this point. We do know from the sheriff that the investigation is still ongoing, and there are pieces that we know are still outstanding. We know that Nolan's phone has not been examined, despite the fact that both the attorney's teams and the law enforcement investigators were supposed to be looking at that phone together. We are waiting to get more information about when that might happen and when it can be included in the ultimate final report from the investigation. Ladies.
Aaron Gilchrist there for us. Thanks, Aaron.
Mama always told me if you the only birthday candle at the birthday party, 9 times out of 10 you ain't there for the party and you there as the present. My mama always told me if you the only birthday candle at the birthday party, you not there for the birthday party, you there to be the present. Nolan Wells and this whole entire thing down there in Mississippi look fishy. One of the boys' mama is a judge down there. Though nobody know what happened, now all of a sudden a body's been found to presume to be his. His mama, Nolan Wells, is online saying she want answers, which means she crying out to the world because she don't believe nothing Mississippi say, which she shouldn't. I want to hear what's going on because it's moving a little too slow for me. The people who investigate this whole thing saying that there's no way possible he could have made it to inside of the island because it's cactus and stuff everywhere. So what really happened to Nolan? That's all we want to know. I'm not going to cover this like I know everything. I want to hear y'all speak this time, okay? Because apparently the other way don't work when we just take what y'all say on y'all news outlets. We want to know what happened from y'all. Instead of all of us making posts on, y'all go live and say what happened. Put them boys on camera. Let us look at them. Let us be the judge and character on this one. Sidebar.
Period. Let us be the judge. But why do we have to go through this? Why don't we get the same justice that Caucasian people get at the end of the day? Like, they always try to shortchange us.
I done already goddamn judged them. Y'all guilty. I don't give a damn. My baby leave the house and he don't come back and it was all white friends. Guilty. Undertaker commit the bodies. I digress.
I digress, okay? And we all know this is the history in this country on how they treat Black Americans, all right? Let's just not even sugarcoat this. And this is a conversation that needs to be had, Knotty Crew. And let me know what your thoughts are. But I share the same sentiments as most of you. Shout out to Dwight Thomas. Love his commentary.
First of all, I want to say that you have to be some kind of terrible human being to send a grieving mother, a mother and a father who are grieving the loss of their son with no answers, something like this in the mail. You're not a good person. And to her point, you sent it without a return address or an address from the sender because you're not even bold enough to stand on what you're saying. And in my personal opinion, the reason that they're sending things like this is because the investigation is starting to close in on it. And they want the parents to back off by trying to suggest that they're only in it for the money because now there's too many holes being poked in their story because it's a national story thanks to social media and Ben Crump. And so here's the thing. The parents have not filed any sort of civil suit. They're asking for a grand jury to see it so criminal charges can be brought up against people who are not telling an entire story about what happened to their child. Now imagine people being this mad because you're simply asking for answers about what happened to your son. And the reality of it is Mississippi could have already put out their autopsy. They could have put it out and tried to put this to rest. They keep having people talk to us about what it's like to be at Horn Island. We don't care about none of that. If y'all felt like he actually drowned, why are you waiting for the independent autopsy? So next time you send something, send it with a return address. I beg of you. First of all, I want to say that you have to be...
He's so right, but this sounds so similar to the Carmelo Anthony case. They tried to make it seem like the parents were out just for money and they mismanaged the money. This is the narrative that, especially in the Deep South, they love to drive so that you don't not get to the core of the matter, the truth, which Nolan parents, they deserve to know the truth. They do. All right. In this next clip, we only can do audio, but Jasmine Crockett even spoke out in regards to this case. Like I said, we just only can do audio, okay? Let's hear what she has to say about the case. And mind you, Jasmine Crockett is an experienced lawyer, and she lives in the Deep South down in Texas. She is fighting for equal justice in the White House as we speak. But here's what she had to say about Nolan Wells.
On the Nolan Wells investigation, some people feel like it's racially motivated. What do you think?
I mean, I think that specifically as Black Americans in the United States right now, we are always going to question whether or not there is a racial motivation. But also, if you know the history of Mississippi, I think that you'd have to be blind not to question potentially what is happening, especially in the case of an 18-year-old who ends up deceased without his cell phone, without any communication whatsoever with anybody, prior to ending up deceased. And he was out with his Caucasian friends, and then law enforcement tells everybody there's no foul play to be suspected. Now, a blind man could see that there's something to investigate. And so I want to applaud the legal team, Ben Crump and his team, as well as his parents, for not giving up and accepting no as an answer.
Well, it sounds like you think it is racially motivated.
I absolutely think that I can tell you that we don't have any answers. But if you think that race is not something to look at, then you are not really trying to investigate.
So what do you think?
Well, I mean, you know me. I'm a civil rights lawyer. I mean, I'm looking at it and I'm looking at the fact that these white kids deleted their social media accounts. It's not like they sat down and talked to law enforcement. It's not even like law enforcement decided that they wanted to sit down and talk to them. They decided, oh, the little Black boy ended up dead without his cell phone, without his friends, going and telling his parents, oh yeah, we got the cell phone. They got to go and track down the phone and find the phone. It looks like a racial thing to me, but hey, maybe we'll find out that it wasn't.
Well, what's interesting is we had his football coach on our TV show today, and he said that there was never any racial tension between any of the students or anything like that. So I mean, that kind of points that maybe this wasn't racially motivated.
I mean, I can't say what even the cause of death really is. We know that there's an independent autopsy that's going on, but I can tell you that race is absolutely playing a role. What role? Whether it had to do with his death, whether it had to do with the fact that maybe your friends left you to die, or your friends didn't care that maybe you did die. I do believe that there's a racial component, or if it's just in law enforcement not feeling as if Nolan Wells was worthy of an actual investigation, but instead decided that there was no foul play, seemingly with no evidence, without talking to any witnesses. That to me is where there are racial components to this for sure. But I will not say that I know for sure that race played a role in his death.
Are you in the camp of if Nolan was white and his friends were...
Yeah.
Okay.
The friends, listen, they would have absolutely been under the jail with no questions asked first.
Really?
But for sure.
Congresswoman, I wanted to get your thoughts on the Nolan Wells.
All right, Jasmine Crockett has spoken. Jasmine Crockett has spoken, and she made absolutely valid points, because if this was in the reverse, you best believe we would have been under the jail like Carmelo Anthony. They arrested him on the scene before any questions were asked, and it's clear that this was self-defense in his case. That's a story for another day. We'll get into the updates on that later, but it's just sad that these things are going on simultaneously. Okay, so shout out to TMZ for that last clip. Up next, I want to get into Nolan Wells' mom, how she's been dealing with her grief. I mean, she's a grieving mother. People need to have empathy. She has no answer as to what happened to her child. I know that has to be heartbreaking, because I know I would have been heartbreaking if it was my children. Okay, shout out to Hollywood Unlocked for this next clip.
Hey, Boo Bears. I know you probably did not expect to see me, but I had to come on because I wanted to acknowledge all of your love, your support, your kindness that you guys have been showing me. I wanted to, answer each and every one of you, and I probably will at some point. I will at some point, but right now it's just, everything is so heavy. Everything is so heavy. Just been going through the motions. I'm a healthcare provider, so I talk about grief a lot. Now to be on the other side of this is, it's a lot. So I lost my mom a few years ago, and that was hard. This loss, this grief, this pain, it's different. it's insurmountable. And then it's like you get these flood of emotions all at different times, and grief is so multi-layered. You know, one second I might be okay and I can talk about things and I can listen to his stories, and then the next minute I am falling apart and I feel like I can't breathe, and I feel like there is an elephant just sitting on my chest. But, you know, I know this is the process. I have a wonderful support system. I have my faith in God, which I've been leaning heavy into. But I just wanted to let you guys know that I see you. I love you. I'm thankful for all of you. And I'm so sorry that I hadn't been able to reply. I don't know exactly when again I'll post. For some reason, it does help. And I know if Nolan was here, he'd be like, Mom, you know, just keep talking to the people, keep telling my story, keep telling your story. So that is going to be my plan. Again, thank you all so much. I love you, and I will talk to you later. Bye.
Shout out to Mrs. Wells, and condolences to you. And grief just simply takes time. And I can't say that it will ever get better. Because it's a child that you had to bury in an untimely fashion. But take all the time you need. And thank you for even taking this little bit of time to address the public, because you did not have to at all. So prayers up to the Nolan family. So a lot has developed. Where do we begin? Okay. So the governor, he's even spoken about this situation. Let's get into it. It's a lot. It's a lot. Governor Tate Reeves speaks on the investigation into the death of Nolan. Governor Tate Reeves spoke for the first time about the investigation into the disappearance of the death of 18-year-old Nolan Wells. This was on Wednesday, July 16th. Wells' body was found in the water off Horn Island on the morning of July 6th. Wells was reported missing the night of July 4th after he did not return from a boating trip with friends. So here's what he had to say. He said, I personally know Sheriff John Ledbetter from Jackson County very well. I have not personally spoken to him. I have a full confidence that he is going to do he has full confidence that he's going to do his job. Okay. Brief and to the point. All right. Brief and to the point. All right. Ben Crump also spoke to how there were missing messages, all right, from Nolan's phone. Let's get into that. Oh, he did say that. I don't want to get into that too much. Oh, here we go. Let me see. He did speak to that. He spoke on Don Lemon's channel about the missing messages. All right. So that's been Crump. We'll get to him a little bit more later, but he did come out and say that there were messages missing. And here's where the sheriff spoke. All right, guys, be patient with me, okay? I appreciate you all. Thumbs up the video. Wells Sheriff speaks. Let's get into it. Shout out to Nola Media.
Clamoring for answers about the death of 18-year-old Nolan Wells during a July 4th boat trip with friends. The sheriff is asking for help and pleading for patience.
I think it's important that we don't put ourselves on a timetable and that we don't rush ourselves. But I do think it's important to be diligent in gathering all the facts. That's what the family deserves.
Wells never returned from a remote barrier island off the Mississippi Gulf Coast. There are no cameras, there's no police. It's why authorities have asked anyone who was here July 4th with Nolan Wells to come forward.
Even if you may think that it might be insignificant, every little bit helps. And that may be a bigger contribution than you think to this case.
could be a public tip that breaks it open for you.
Exactly.
A close friend of Wells, Trayston Shepard, says the group spent the day swimming and drinking.
Well, we were just having fun all day, and then as the day went on, people...
This morning, with a community clamoring for answers about the death of 18-year-old Nolan Wells during a July 4th boat trip with friends, the sheriff is asking for help and pleading for patience.
I think it's important
to drink more, and people started to get more drunk.
We asked the sheriff whether drinking or drugs played a role in Wells's death.
Of course, the rumors are out there, but we don't respond to rumors. We respond to facts.
And as investigators attempt to build a full timeline of the teen's movements and whereabouts that weekend, this photo showing Wells at a pool party has been circulating widely online and has been shared by his family's attorney. ABC News confirming it was taken a week before he visited Horn Island. Authorities initially suspect Wells drowned, although the results of autopsies by both officials and the one the family ordered are pending. On our visit to the island, we heard from a local boat captain about how the scenic haven could quickly turn treacherous.
Down there at the end of the west end of the island, there's a current that can, get you really quick, and it gets deep.
So if you're an experienced swimmer, even that area of the island could be a little dodgy?
Yes, especially with the current down there at the very end. It kind of eddies. If you're out there trying to swim that deep, yeah.
Started to drink more.
All right, so they're alluding to alcohol being involved. The GPS tracking system was released, okay? Let's see a breakdown of that. Y'all let me know what y'all think about what the sheriff said. I mean, everything is still under investigation. Here we go.
More information that comes out in the Nolan Wells case, the more questions I have. So let's look at this timeline. Let's talk about it. At 9:56 a.m., the boat leaves the dock. At 11:14 a.m., the boat arrives at Horn Island. And around 3 o'clock p.m., Nolan is reportedly last seen. At 4:31 p.m., GPS shows the boat leaving Horn Island without Nolan. Sometimes after leaving the island, a distress call was reportedly made claiming the boat was taking on water and needed assistance. The exact time of that call is not publicly confirmed. At 5:44 p.m., the boat returns to the original dock. 5:52 p.m., GPS shows the boat traveling into Fort Bayou, and at 6:06 p.m., the boat returns to the original dock again. At 7:19 p.m., the boat goes to the Fort Bayou boat launch. Again, around 11 o'clock p.m., the Coast Guard says it was notified that Nolan was missing. Now, here's what I'm trying to understand. If the boat had a mechanical emergency that required everyone to leave the island, when exactly did that happen? How serious was the issue? Why does the GPS show the boat continuing to travel afterward? Why the additional trips to Fort Bayou? And if Nolan was last seen around 3 o'clock p.m., why wasn't the Coast Guard notified that he was missing until around 11 o'clock p.m.? Listen, I'm not saying this timeline proves anyone committed a crime. I'm saying there are questions that deserve answers. That's why the GPS data, Coast Guard records, phone records, and witness statements all need to be compared.
Period. They all need to be compared. Thank you so much for that breakdown. Because I was looking at the GPS. I was like, I don't know how to read this. Okay. Another content creator. Shout out to Smack the Messenger. Here we go.
Boys on the boat with Nolan Wells lied. They mamas lied, but GPS don't. The boys on the boat with Nolan Wells lied. They mamas lied, but GPS don't. So listen, trigger warning before we get started. An update came in late last night about the Nolan Wells situation. Apparently, the GPS on the boat shows that the boat went back to the island twice. Now, let me read the caption verbatim. This is from Rap House TV. I want to make sure that I throw them some love. Let's read this together. According to the newly released GPS data, the boat departed Horn Island at 4:31 p.m. and returned to its original dock before traveling into Fort Bayou at approximately 5:52 p.m. It then returned to the dock around 6:06 p.m. Later that evening at 7:19 p.m., the boat was recorded at the Fort Bayou boat launch. Investigators believe it was then transported over land, likely by trailer, to the boat owner's residence in Biloxi, Mississippi. The Mississippi Department of Marine Resources, MSDMR, also stated that the boat owner, his mother, and another individual who was reportedly with Nolan Wells on the day he disappeared have all cooperated with investigators. Lies, allegedly. I just wanted to bring y'all this news because there are people mapping out the entire thing up here. I'm not going to do that because now that I do want to just preface to y'all, they are saying that they think that other boats are involved. Now that's alleged. That's the stuff that I'm seeing because I'm doing my research too, y'all. But I'm gonna wait till that officially come out. But that's y'all update. Okay, why y'all went to the island twice if y'all was sinking over that radio call? I'm just here to bring y'all the news. Let's turn them up early, y'all. I'm just the messenger.
He's just a messenger, but it's not adding up. It's not adding up, okay? Now, the autopsy is ready, but they're refusing to release it. Why? Because they want to wait for the independent autopsy. So, Knotty Crew, I'll leave you with the question. Do you think this is smart, or do you think they're trying to cover up? Let me know in the comments.
The Jackson County Sheriff's Office doesn't want to release their autopsy reports. They want to get the autopsy results from the independent autopsy before they release theirs. The reason being because if they release their autopsy reports and it comes back as something different than what the independent autopsy report says, it's going to blow a whole lot of shit up in that sheriff's office and a lot of their cases are going to be questioned. But Attorney Ben Crump and Nolan's family don't want to release their autopsy reports first because they know that the sheriff's office can change their report. It's a waiting game because from Nolan's parents' side, they want to catch the corruption in the Justice Department. But the department's main focus is making sure that there's no scandal. Y'all really are thinking, everyone's like, where's the autopsy reports? Where's the autopsy reports? They were supposed to be out by Friday. Well, no shit. Why would I release my autopsy reports for you to go turn around and say that you have the same results? But you started your autopsy first. So where are your reports? Yeah, okay. Y'all really gotta think about this. This case is twisted. And Nolan's parents are doing the right thing by their child. They literally got an independent autopsy. They're not giving his phone to Mississippi law enforcement because they know how they can do things. This corruption in the justice system really needs to stop. Justice for Nolan Xavier Wells.
That's right. Justice for and shout out to his parents for standing their ground. Like, because this is how they get to manipulate and twist things and leave things out. It's crazy. Some of the friends are speaking out, and let's hear from them. Like, this is nuts. This something ain't clean in the water, Knotty Crew. Something ain't clean in the water. It don't sit right with me.
So, but is that Nolan in the video?
I can't tell. It's too far away, but in that video, I feel like the voices are too clear. Like from the side, it's too clear for it to be that far away, for it to be Nolan arguing. And then also that altercation, it sounds just like my other friend that got into the altercation on the boat. And they were trying to, like, as he was in that altercation, I was calming him down. They were trying to get him out off the island. They were trying to get him back to land because he was just losing it. So
describe that. That's kind of interesting. What was that about?
He was just very hostile. Like he was just like really like mad. Like they were just trying to, like the parents on that boat were trying to get him out.
I'm curious if the police have, I know they said they're still investigating. Did any investigators ever speak to you about what you saw that day?
No, sir.
Really? Okay. Cops have not talked to you yet.
No, sir.
That's odd.
I don't see why the cops would have to talk to me. I mean, obviously, like, you know, like I had said my plea, like, because whenever I had talked to the people at Sunheard, it was whenever, you know, the body was discovered and the autopsy people and all those people were there.
Well, I'll tell you why I'm surprised. Because you knew Nolan well, and you knew that he was friends with these guys who were the last ones to be around him before his body was found. And I would think they would at least want to know, hey, just the things we're asking. Right. You know, did you ever hear of any of this stuff? It's odd to me. Just to gather information. Yeah, that the cops wouldn't have contacted you. Yeah.
And that's fine. Like, I'm completely fine with that. Like I said, I have nothing to hide. Like, that's my boy, and I want him to find justice. Like that, like this whole case thing, like whatever, like this whole situation, and none of this adds up to me. So like, it's really hard, like for like people to just like keep on saying things when like none of it adds up.
Seen the video that's been going around social media.
So I watched this interview with this young man being described as Nolan's best friend. And I got a few questions to ask. The first thing that stood out to me was when he was asked whether that was Nolan's voice in the video, and his response was, "I can't tell. It was too far away." Now, I'm not saying that means anything by itself, but if that was truly your best friend, you'd think you'd recognize his voice or have a better sense of whether it was him or not. If that was truly your dog, you'd be right there by his side if he was in a confrontation, not somewhere else. And that's just my opinion. Another thing I noticed was his demeanor. Everybody grieves differently, right? So I'm not going to sit here and tell people how someone is supposed to act after losing somebody, but based on what I saw, he didn't come across as someone who had just lost his best friend. Again, that's only my observation, all right? When my boy Ramon died 2 years ago, I was devastated for days. And if something was to happen to my brother Swerve, or even my younger brother, I don't even know how I'd handle it. That's what makes me question whether they were truly best friends or simply friends and associates. I could be wrong, but that's just the impression that I got. Then there are other questions that don't make sense to me. If they were best friends, why weren't they on the same boat? Why don't we see pictures of the two of them together on the island while we do see Nolan with the other three guys? Maybe there's a simple explanation, but something I noticed, all right? And the other thing that caught my attention was when he said police haven't interviewed him yet.
And that's the very same thing that caught my attention, Knotty Crew. That's the very same thing. What do you mean? You're supposed to interview the people that are closest to Nolan to find out what happened. And that's why I feel like there's something that is not clean in the water here. Not clean. Not clean, okay? But people are speaking up. Let's get into Attorney Crunk's update, and then next we'll get into Al Sharpton's update. Here we go.
Independent autopsy. We are looking to have findings sooner rather than later. Obviously, you want stuff from the first autopsy because they had the body closer to time. We got the body almost 6 days later, Dr. Roger Mitchell. So there are limitations as to what he could do. So, you know, you do the best you can, but there are unanswered questions. So he's getting his report together. I believe it will be coming very soon. Yeah.
Let me take one. I'm gonna take three more. One.
To the independent autopsy, we are looking to.
So I'm just wondering, like, why are they holding this autopsy? Okay, let's hear what Al Sharpton had to say. Why are they? And to me, it's given because they're trying to withhold what's going on here.
To anybody I want to put a reward up for $50,000 for anybody that could give the information that will lead to an arrest and a conviction in the case of what happened. He was not on that island by himself. Somebody saw something and knows something. So I didn't come to make money. I came to give money. Stand up and tell the truth. I just got a text, Christine and Elmer, you know that Tyler Perry said he would pay for the funeral. He must be watching because he said, I'm going to match you and put up $50,000 more. So we putting up $100,000 for anybody that'll come forward. We just want dollars.
Okay, and I think this is great, and I wish I saw this outpour when it came to Carmelo Anthony as well. They're definitely these things definitely cost money. So shout out to everybody volunteering and helping his family. But I just want to make mention Carmelo Anthony's family needs just as much help. Okay, improving his innocence, but plenty of celebrities have come forward. Let's get into it. This was posted by attorney Crump. All right, here are celebrities speaking out as to questions that mount in Nolan's case.
Stop killing our children, son of a bitch. We don't care if you think you're rich. We love our children and the color of their skin, and we're getting tired of being called as the next of kin. You twisted monsters are going too far. Don't you know your own children will suffer if you keep magnifying this civil war? The people are becoming more and more empowered.
Everybody's underreacting. To all this shit. All of it. Yeah.
Hi, I just wanted to say that after BET with the step show Chaos with an iota of Daz, after the E-Suite, after the Van Van performance, after Essence Music Fest and rocking on stage with Brandy and Yo-Yo, and then with Dougie and Scarface and Too Short and a whole bunch of folks, I just want you to know that although we were in a moment of relief and we gave performances that hopefully gave the audience a moment of relief, we are with Nolan and his family, and we want the truth. Hi.
And to top it off, Terrell Owens, he spoke out. Let's not forget him. He spoke out directly from his page. Let's hear what he has to say.
Don't know where to begin. But America, we have a problem. And I'll say this, how many times are we gonna just get up and think that a day is gonna be normal, a weekend is gonna be normal, a holiday is gonna be normal? We're making up the tragedy. I can't sit back and be quiet no more. Donald J. Trump, I'll say this, but I'm gonna challenge you to do something in a situation where you should be intervening. And that's in this Nolan Wells case. Just saw you intervene in a soccer match, throwing your weight around as a president, throw your man. You should be calling, you should be making a call right now. You should be making a call right now to intervene. The parents, the friends, the loved ones, they need answers. The justice system, it's failing us. I'm just speaking from the heart. Didn't know where I was going to go with this.
And this has been a issue in our community that date back, I can't even tell you, hundreds of years, where the justice system works against us, all right? And I don't want to be misunderstood because there's plenty of Caucasian CCs like Secret Service Sam speaking out. Also, this young man, shout out to Terrell Owens, we appreciate you, but I can't play your whole thing because of the music in the background, bro. Okay. But yeah, something has to be done. And how do you fix it? A system that has been designed to suppress us. Okay.
We have an important update concerning the horrific, tragic case of Nolan Wells. And truthfully, not enough people, and especially not enough mainstream outlets, are regularly talking about Nolan, so we need to get this out. Nolan, as you may know, is an 18-year-old man who was found dead after going missing over 4th of July weekend in Mississippi. The circumstances around his death right now are unclear and under investigation. His family is demanding a full and transparent investigation. The family retained recently Benjamin Crump, a civil rights lawyer, and in a statement they are demanding a, quote, thorough and independent investigation into how Nolan died. In a statement from Benjamin Crump, he says that the family deserves answers and the truth about Nolan's death, and that investigators are urged to essentially pursue this case with urgency and transparency this family deserves. Nolan, for those who may not know, was described by his family and those around him as a, quote, happy-go-lucky kid with a big smile that everybody adored and loved. He was about to turn 19 next month. He was a wide receiver on his school's football team. A good student, good man. People need to know his story, and people need to continue talking about it as his family seeks justice and accountability and the results of a thorough and independent investigation. We have an important update.
I'm fair. I see there's plenty of Caucasian people speaking out about this case, and I like to be fair in my commentary because people see what is wrong with our justice system and how it is designed to fail our families and our people. All right. Ooh.
A former Mississippi judge have came forward and confirmed the police ain't doing everything they could do to solve this Nolan Wells investigation, potential murder. And it's probably because there are some very powerful families involved in this situation. Not only are they not doing their job, the judge will even take it a step further and say, yo, there are obvious crimes and arrests that needs to be made already that they are neglecting and
Yeah, let's start with the underage drinking. Seriously, let's start there. How did they get the alcohol? Who bought the alcohol for them? All that stuff.
refusing to act on. This is Carlos Moore. He's a former judge in Mississippi and current attorney. Y'all called us race hustling, ambulance chasing grifters because we say, yo, this Nolan Wells situation doesn't smell well and we want an investigation. So we race hustling, ambulance chasing grifters. So now you guys got to deal with an actual attorney, somebody who actually knows the law, somebody who was a judge, who knows how the enforcement of the laws are supposed to work. And let him explain how exactly the police is botching this investigation and not doing what they are supposed to do. Now, as you listen to him, ask yourself this: if Nolan Wells was any other race, let's not even say white, if Nolan Wells was any other race, do you think this investigation will be going how it's going right now?
Hello, friends. Come on in. I'm Judge Carlos Moore.
Judge Carlos Moore. Man, say it one time for him, man. Judge who? Say it one time for him, man. Judge who?
Hello, friends. Come on in.
I love it. I love it. Shout out to the black judges out there. Yes, come on. He good eye candy too, not the crew. Thumbs up the video.
I'm Judge Carlos Moore.
This brother dropped a 40-minute masterpiece going at the police for their 1 hour of investigation before they said no foul play. Now, he broke down why there should be people in cuffs in jail fighting a bond right now while this case is being investigated. And he broke down the exact...
The way Carmelo Anthony is fighting for his life right now.
crimes they have already committed.
This is all very suspicious activity. We know that based on an audio recording and some video that Nolan Wells can be heard saying, "Give me my freaking keys." Excuse me, "Give me my freaking phone." And there's been two different versions. Some say he said, "Give me my freaking phone," or some say he said, "Give me my ML phone." Regardless, he was asking or demanding his phone. Someone had his phone who did not have permission to have his phone. So the first thing I see, the simplest thing I see, is who had his phone and why. and was that theft of the phone. Sometimes we look at the largest case, we try to get to murder, but the person that took his phone committed a crime right there.
A former Mississippi judge have came forward and confirmed the police ain't doing everything they could do to solve this Nolan Wells investigation, potential murder. And it's probably because there are some very powerful families involved in this situation. Not only are they not doing their job, the judge will even take it a step.
Yeah, they're not doing their job. Shout out to First World Net for this clip, okay? The injustices are everywhere. They're everywhere. And they always make it hard for us to get answers. And that's what is always mind-boggling. Mind-boggling. But you heard from the judge himself. They're not doing everything they can in this case. Why are they withholding the autopsy? It should be full transparency here if there's not a cover-up. All right, here's another update.
The thing I assume some of you may know, the thing to announce, she shared with the family that there will be a grand jury that she will turn this case over to once they have collected all the information and finished their investigation. We also agreed that we will have a mutual inspection of the cell phone with our experts and their experts. Attorney Eric Hertz is helping the thing I...
Why are they withholding so much information? I asked you, Knotty Crew. Let me know. I mean, everything leads to a cover-up. It does. No matter which way. Then why are his friends lying about the situation? If nothing was done wrong in this case, why are they lying? Let's see.
Now, the next claim is he left later in the afternoon with the other white boys, and they asked Nolan if he was coming, and Nolan told them he was going to stay behind to talk to Katie. That's what Tristan is saying. But here's the problem with that. Tristan has admitted that was quote unquote him yelling, right? Well, Javon just says Tristan was so hostile. He was moving so irate and so crazy, they had to remove him from the island. So if Tristan was removed from the island earlier in the day, then where is this nonsense that Tristan coming from that he was present and that Nolan told him later in the afternoon, oh, he was going to stay behind on the island to talk to Katie. They left at 4:30. By 4:30, according to Javon, Tristan was off the island already. If that was him yelling, right? Right? See, they came out so fast to try to discredit this video to make their white friends look innocent, and all it did was just throw them under the bus. That was him yelling, right? Cool. If that was you yelling, your homie is saying you was off the island, bro. You got kicked off the island. You was going too crazy. So how you got kicked off the island, but all of a sudden later in the afternoon, you was with the white boys on the island and Nolan told you he was gonna stay behind. It sounds like you're running interference for the white boys. It sounds like you're running interference, bro. It sounds like they put you out here as this mixed
Token black boy, making him a house ninja, bootlicker,
half black kid who could come here and say, oh, nah, we innocent. Nah, they innocent. They didn't do nothing. You wasn't there. You was not there. You was not present. You wasn't there in the afternoon. You got kicked off the island. According to Javon, he personally helped get you off the island because you was moving too crazy.
They met that day, and it was kind of one of those things. It did come off that day that he really did like her, but that was the only time they've ever hung out was at Horn Island on July 4th.
But now is, I was there. Oh, no, I was there with the white boys, and we told Nolan, we asked Nolan, hey, bro, you want to come, huh? Oh, that's what it is? Now, even Javon is acting like, well, nah, man, the video was altered. Yeah, I bet, buddy. That's why I say, yo, these kids are not slick enough, man. See, Tristan, if you're getting paid, bro, to come out and say these things, I don't know this to be a fact. Bro, if you're getting paid to come out, bro, just admit it, man. Hey, man, I made a mistake. Because I'm telling you right now, Tristan, I'm telling you right now, bruh, when that grand jury get this evidence and your homie, who mama is a judge, when she got to make a decision, now the next claim is he left later in the afternoon with the other white boys, and they asked Nolan if he was coming, and Nolan told them he was going to stay behind to talk.
All right. So, like I said, Knotty Crew, this whole situation.
That's suspicious. That's weird.
Whole situation is suspicious and weird. Okay. I'm gonna keep my eye out for this story. The numbers ain't adding up. If you don't have to lie if the truth is gonna vindicate you. You don't have to lie. So I feel like the reason for the lies is because the families are trying to cover up for what their kids did instead of them being held accountable, just like every other person who commits a crime, because people with money and privilege, especially down there in Mississippi, think that they're above the law. And so many instances in this case reminds me of the Murdoch case. And we see how that tragically ended. Okay, so I'm gonna end this video with just a memory of who Nolan was. And he just came off as a very, very, very sweet boy. Knotty Crew, please leave it in the comments what you may think. Thumbs up this video, hype this video up, and I'll keep my eye out for updates. All right, so let's end with a memory of Nolan, because we really didn't know him like that. Here we go.
My name is Nolan Xavier Wells, and I'm going on a fishing trip with my friends. 3 chuddy trip. Yay! My name is Nolan Xavier Wells, and I'm going on a fishing trip with my friends. 3 chuddy trip. Yay!